So this is the Sonos Era 100. It was announced alongside the larger Era 300, which has Dolby Atmos support. Now the Era 100 does not have Dolby Atmos support because it doesn't have any upward firing speakers. But regardless, the Era 100 is a great sounding speaker. But just like with most other Sonos speakers, there are some things that you should know about the Era 100 before you pick it up. Nonetheless, let's see what the Era 100 is all about. We're going to pricing. The Sonos Era 100 retails for $250, and given that this is a Sonos speaker, I don't expect the speaker to go on sale all that often, and if it does, it's not going to go on sale by much. Now, if you're a Sonos fanboy, then this speaker is going to make you very happy, but if this is your first Sonos speaker, then there are definitely some things that you should know. Nonetheless, if you want to pick this speaker up, it'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, pick up a Big Head approved hat. It helps the unsponsored and unbiased reviews coming. We've got trucker hats and snapbacks. Now first, I want to talk about the setup process of this speaker because this is just one of the things that I dislike most about Sonos. Now, before you can actually even use the speaker, you got to connect it up to Wi-Fi and register it to your account. And personally, I just hate that this is even a thing. And since this is a Wi-Fi first speaker, you got to make sure that wherever you place it, it's going to have a solid Wi-Fi connection, because if not, you're going to have a bad time. Now, unlike the Era 300, the Era 100 doesn't have any upward firing speakers on it. All of its sound comes out the front, so placing the speaker is a lot more straightforward. If you want, you can put the speaker in a cabinet, and you also don't have to worry about obstructing the top. And overall, the speaker is a lot more compact than the Era 300, so placing the speaker is just much easier. And I also appreciate that the speaker comes included with a 6-foot long power cable, which also makes placing the speaker a lot easier as well. And I also like that this power cable is neatly tucked away on the bottom, unlike the Era 300, whose power cable just sticks out the back. Now, just like the 300, the Era 100 is using mostly matte plastics, and it comes in either white or black, and it has touch controls up top. Touch controls that you can deactivate from its app, which I do feel can be very important, especially if you have a little one in the house. But now let's talk about connectivity, because there's a lot to break down here. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is a Wi-Fi first speaker, so wherever you place it, you want to make sure that it has a solid Wi-Fi connection. Now, if you're an iPhone user, then using the speaker is going to be super easy because you can just stream music to it by using AirPlay. Whereas if you're an Android user, the speaker doesn't have Chromecast support. So if you want to stream music to it, you're going to have to open up Sonos' app, you're going to have to link your streaming service of choice, and you're going to have to choose your music through Sonos' app. These are all just extra steps that I don't want to have to do when all I want to do is just listen to music with my speaker. So personally, I do feel that if you do decide to pick up the speaker, then your life is going to be a little easier if you're an iPhone user. However, something that's new for Sonos here is that this speaker now has Bluetooth. I know it's crazy to have Bluetooth on your speaker, but sometimes you just need Bluetooth. So if you're an Android user, you can always make your life a little easier by using a Bluetooth connection with this speaker. But also, Bluetooth is just important to have on your speaker because this way you can share your speaker with someone else without having to share your Wi-Fi password. But now this leads us to the USB-C port on the back. Now, Sonos says that you're not supposed to use this USB-C port as a charging port for your phone, but I've been charging my phone without any issues. But obviously, you're not going to have any fast charging. However, this USB-C port is supposed to be used as a line in so that you can use this speaker with a wired connection if you really want to. The problem here is that this speaker does not come included with the USB-C to audio jack adapter. That's sold separately, and personally, I do feel that this is a little ridiculous. The speaker should just have a built-in audio jack, or at the very least come included with the adapter. But also, Sonos sells a separate adapter that has an audio jack and Ethernet port on it, just in case you want to hardwire the speaker into your network. Now, I still feel that the speaker should have an audio jack built into it because I feel that a decent amount of people might want to use the speaker with a wired connection. However, with the Ethernet port, I do feel that is a much more niche scenario. But wait, we're not done about talking about the connectivity on this speaker. Now, in general, this speaker doesn't have a lot of physicality to its base, but you can always fix that by connecting any of Sonos' wireless subwoofers to this speaker. So this way, you're gonna have a lot more physicality in your music. And if you were to get two Era 100s, then you can always pair them up with your Sonos soundbar, like let's say an ARC or a Beam Gen 2, and you can use them as rear surround sound speakers. But next up, there are the voice assistants on this speaker. Now, you can use Sonos's own voice assistant, and with it, you're going to be able to control your music playback, you can group your speakers together, and you can also ask Sonos to play music in specific rooms. Or you can also use this speaker as a smart speaker, but unfortunately there is no built-in Google Assistant. Now, even though this speaker does have built-in microphones in it so that you can talk to your voice assistant and so that it can calibrate itself to the shape of your room, if you're privacy conscious like I am, then you can always deactivate the microphones on this speaker by using the switch on the back. And this is going to disconnect all of your microphones from power from a hardware level. It's like disconnecting your TV from the wall outlet. It's going to be completely dead. But with all of that out of the way, we can finally start talking about how this speaker actually sounds. Now, regarding speaker setups, the Era 100 has a more conventional speaker setup than the Era 300. The Era 100 has a single frontward firing woofer and it has dual frontward firing tweeters. Now, just like with most other Sonos speakers, the Era 100 does sound a little flat when you first take it out of the box. But thankfully, you can go in and adjust its bass and treble. And personally, I do like to use this speaker with its bass raised by 5 clicks. But now we're going to jump into the sound test, and we're going to be comparing the Era 100 to two similarly priced and similarly sized speakers. First, we have the Marshall Middleton, which is a 360-degree speaker, which has a total of 2 woofers and 2 tweeters on it, and a pair of passive radiators. And we're also going to be using the JBL Extreme 3, which has dual frontward firing woofers, dual frontward firing tweeters, and dual passive radiators that shoot out the sides.
I never thought I'd feel like this. Yeah. I never thought I'd feel like this. Ooh, never thought I could. I never thought I'd be on my feet, be on my feet. I'm spending my time in love like I should. No more struggling, I'm good. Yeah. I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like
So sound quality wise, something that I really like about Sonos' Era speakers is that they do a really good job of providing you a really lifelike listening experience. Now with the Extreme 3, the speaker is a great speaker to take on the go with you, and it's a great speaker for the summer. However, the Extreme 3 does have a very bright sound signature to it, and at times its highs can just get a little too overemphasized. So personally, that's why I like to use my Extreme 3 with the treble lowered down a little bit when I'm going to use it for personal use. And then there's the Middleton, which has really good instrument separation, but since it's a 360-degree speaker, it just doesn't sound as concentrated. Whereas with the Era 100, it has great instrument separation and it sounds very concentrated, and the highs aren't overemphasized like with the Extreme 3. The only thing that I don't like about the Era 100 is that it doesn't have too much physicality in its bass. Most of the bass on the speaker is just on the audible side. But like I mentioned earlier, if you want more physicality in the speaker's music, then you can always pair it to one of Sonos' subs. But just given the cost basis of this whole setup, I don't think it would make a lot of sense. But then there's max volume performance on the speaker. The Era 100 gets decently loud for its size and is gonna have no problem filling a small or medium-sized room with sound. However, if you do have a larger room, then you are gonna want to go with the Era 300. But more importantly, the speaker doesn't suffer from distortion at higher volumes like with some other smart speakers out there. But with all that being said, I can't deny that the Sonos Era 100 is a great sounding speaker that does a very impressive job of sounding very open and very balanced. The only thing that I don't like about the Era 100 is that it does lack physicality in its bass. The bass on the speaker is mostly on the audible side. However, if you already have other Sonos speakers, then the Era 100 is going to be a great addition. But I do feel that there are some things that you should keep in mind before you buy this speaker. First off, I do feel that your life is going to be a little easier if you're an iPhone user, because since this is a Wi-Fi first speaker, AirPlay is kind of important. I also really dislike how aggressive Sonos is to get you to sign into your Sonos account before you can actually use the speaker. And if you do plan on using the speaker with a wired connection, just be prepared to buy the USB-C to audio jack adapter, which is sold separately. So if you're not already heavily invested in Sonos' ecosystem, or if a voice assistance isn't super important to you, or if you don't really care to have your speaker connected up to Wi-Fi, then you can always go for a more affordable solution, or you can always get more bang for your buck with another option out there. But if you are set on buying the Sonos Era 100, it truly is a great sounding speaker. It does a great job of giving you a lifelike representation of what you're listening to. I just feel that you're paying a Sonos tax for it. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.